All right, so today I'm going to explain how to do the creating a layered glowing text effect tutorial. First thing you need to do is go ahead and create your document to the correct size. So the directions are asking for your document to be set up in pixels, so you want to go ahead and change that over to that. Make your width 2000 and your height 1200. You can go ahead and keep the resolution at 300 since we are going to print this in the end. Click OK. And from here, it says make a new gradient adjustment layer. So in order to make a new gradient adjustment layer, you need to make sure that your workspace is correct first. So let's go ahead and reset this. Here's our background layer. Great. So now what we can do is we can go to layer, and we can go to new fill layer, and we can choose new gradient. From here, we'll go ahead and click OK. This will bring up our dialog box for us, and we have the ability to change all of the pieces now. You want to go ahead and click on the gradient editor, and here we can change the colors. The top ones, the top little sliders, change the opacity of the color, and the bottom one will actually change the color. So from here we can go ahead and type in what we're looking for. The directions do give you some numbers to type in. So 46, 46, 46. There's my gray. And then it wants black on top, so we're going to click there. Click this one over here. And it wants that to be 000, which it already is. Click OK. You notice it's fading out. That's because this top slider has an opacity that's been set to 0. You need to go ahead and change that over to 100. And now you can see that our document is starting to look correct. Let's go ahead and click OK. We'll go to step 2. It says make another linear gradient adjustment layer above the previous one. To make that, just go to your layers panel and click on the new icon. And that will go ahead and create another layer for you. Again, go back to layer, new fill layer, choose gradient, click OK. But this one, instead, it wants to be a rainbow of your choice. So go ahead and make a rainbow. And then it is going to have you change the fill of the layer to 25. And let's talk about that here in a second. We get a rainbow here. There's a rainbow color for us. Go ahead and click OK. And then everything looks okay there according to the directions. We just need to go ahead and change that fill so it's at 25%. To do that, what we're going to do is go over to our layers panel, and there's a box that says fill. Let's go ahead and type in 25%, push enter. So there's that. It also wants to change the blend mode. The blend mode is a set of options that we can choose from here. That's going to choose how the layers interact with one another. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on color. So it's starting to look more and more like the photo that's up there. You can see, look at the directions, everything's just starting to look the same. Scroll down, it says finally make another gradient adjustment layer above the previous two. This one will be a gradient, a radial gradient. So let's go ahead and make a new layer gradient and click OK. Right here where it says style, go ahead and choose radial. And we're going to set this one up to only have two colors in the gradient, black, and then make it go transparent from 100 to 0 at the other end. So go ahead and look on this. Yep, look, we got our two blacks up there. Now we're going to go from 100% to 0. We can go ahead and do some of the pieces though. If you see the black covering the center of the image, click reverse. Obviously, we don't want the black covering the center of the image. We're trying to create like more of a vignetted piece. So we're going to want to change that. And we also need to set the layer opacity to 65%. Let's go ahead and click OK real quick. If we'll click reverse, you'll see how the center starts to go there. Well, it's too much in the middle. we want to kind of change and see how this piece will adjust. We can adjust where the circle is going to grow by just changing these sliders here a little bit. I think we're okay there. We can adjust it a little bit more if we want. That's okay for me. Click OK. But it wants its opacity set to 65%. And then click Enter. Now you can start to see some things starting to come together here. Now we are going to start dealing with the text. Like I said earlier, I think you should probably pick something that is nice and bold, easy to work with. And you want to make sure that you're not choosing too many letters when doing this, otherwise it becomes a tedious process. So now let's begin doing the text treatment. We're going to go ahead and get the text tool up. Got my T. I'm going to go out to my document, and I am going to type P. Whoa, P is too big for me. I need to change that. I've got size 400 font. Change that. I don't particularly like this font either, so I'm going to go ahead and change that right now while we're talking about it. I'm going to pick something that is a little bit different than that. Let's go with Rockwell maybe. Make it a little bit bigger. So there's that. The directions say then grab the move tool, hit Command T, and you can transform it. That's what I just did. So if I want to make the size different, Control T, and I can increase and decrease the size of it and get it placed where I want it. What we would like to do now is change the blending mode for the layer. Again, we're going back to this piece here, and we're going to choose how the colors interact with each other. And we're going to change this to screen. Oops, it kind of went away, which is fine. Next, we want to double click on the layer panel. We want to go over to where the P is at. We're going to double click on it in the open area, and this will bring up our layer style options, and we want to put an outer glow onto it. So we're going to click on the words outer glow, and we're going to change it so that the opacity is at 20 and our size is 70. Starts to make it glow a little bit more for us. And from here, we also want to add a stroke to this. Move on to stroke. And we're going to change the outside in our blend mode is going to be color dodge. And our color is going to be a white color. Go ahead and click OK from there. Okay, once you've got all of the correct settings on your letter, the next thing to do is duplicate it by dragging the layer down to the new layer button at the bottom of the platen. So what you're going to do is take this P, you're going to drag it and drop it onto the new layer icon at the bottom. You can see we're starting to grow. And then what you can do is select the T and change the font to something that's similar. If you don't like how it lines up, you can do Control T and do a free transform and make the letter look a little different. essentially what you're trying to do is make sure that the baseline of the letter always lines up. So if I take this and I move this, see how I'm starting to get some different double letters to show up here. There's some other things you could do. You could do a Control T. If you don't want to change the font, you can just make a bunch of duplicates of this and just change the size and location. But you do want to make sure that you're always keeping the same baseline on the bottom there. That's really, really important. And what you're going to want to do is repeat this over. It says you want to do it about 20 times or so. I think that sometimes gets a bit excessive. I would suggest going somewhere between the neighborhood of 10 and 15 times. So you start to get this crazy effect that takes place. If you want to do changing the text method, just get your text tool up, highlight that one piece of text, and you can go find a different font. Maybe I'll go with the extra bold this time. But you see, what happens here is you end up with some really weird overlays. Sometimes you see how that bigger P in the background is a little bit weird, but you can definitely make copies of all these and just start stacking them on top of each other, and you start to end up with getting these crazy sets of letters. Once you've got all of that done, what you're going to want to do is just adjust them, get them just right, and then we are going to group them together so that you can move them all at once. So what we're going to do is go to our layers panel, and you're going to select all the pieces, and you're going to make a new group. So I'm going to come over here to my layers panel. I'm going to select all these pieces, and if I come in here and I click new group from layers, call this P. So there's my P. And then what I'm going to do is take this P, make a duplicate of it by dragging it down to the new layer icon, and I can move it over into a different place. If I hold Shift, it'll go straight across. I can make a copy one more time, and if I hold Shift, it'll drag it over. So there's my letters. What I need to do from here is I need to expand the selection here and start to change my letters. So S. I'm just going to go through all of my pieces here, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm selecting a different layer each time. You can start to see which ones need to be changed. I think it's easier to start at the top and just keep on turning them off as you go, because then you're always going to be working with the most upper layer on the stack. Turn that one off. Should be down to one last P here. There we go. Turn that off. Turn all of these back on, and we start to build our S. Now you can do the same thing over for the P. Like I said, open it up, start at the top, change this to D. Turn off the I. Next one, turn off the I. And continue that over and over until the process is done. So T. Turn all these back on. Forgot a P somewhere. Look at it, it'll tell you where you're looking. P right there. All right, so now you've got the start of your piece. So now what we're going to do is you can start to repeat that. You can change the color of them if you would like. The color may not look the same as the directions, but that's due to how you created your gradient on your screen and how the layers are blending together. From here, you're going to take the elliptical marquee, and you're going to create a feather or a quick mask at the bottom of it, and you're going to put this motion blur into effect. It's going to give it a bit of a different look. We'll collapse all that back up. Come over here to your marquee tool, and you're going to get the elliptical marquee, and it says that you want to enter a feather of 20. Now we're going to draw ourselves a marquee. Something that kind of fits right there, and then it says to push Q. So what that has done is it has put our quick mask on for us, but it is in the wrong selection. We want to be the reverse of that. So what we need to do is Control Z that. All right, we're going to back up just a few steps here. We're going to go back and redo this elliptical marquee piece here. We're going to take our ellipse tool. We're going to draw a new one just enough to cover the bottom of our text here. And then after you get that, you're going to have to enter what's called quick mask mode. The quick mask mode is going to look different on our computer than what it does on the worksheet that you're following. But just trust me, it works. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to filter, and we're going to go to blur, motion blur, and type in 700px, click OK, and then click Q again. That takes us out of our quick mask. And from here, what we need to do is we need to make sure that on our layers panel, this is really important, that you select the top gradient piece that we have made. We're no longer dealing with the text, we're back to working with the gradient. And from here, we're going to go to Layer, New Layer, Adjustment, and click on Curves, and click OK. And you have a slider box that pops up. From here, you can start to play with it, and it should be a live update, and you'll be able to start creating this glowing piece that comes across the bottom of the letters. Once you get that done, you're going to have to create a new document real quick. Go File, New, and it's going to ask you to create one that's 300px by 300px by 300. Click OK, and once you get that made, you're going to click on the background layer to make sure it's active, double click it, click OK. It's going to rename it for you, and now you can go ahead and do a color overlay. We're going to want to make that black at 100%, and then you are also going to want to put a stroke onto that as well, and the stroke is going to be a 2 pixel, and it's going to have 100% opacity, and it's going to have a fill of white. Go ahead and click OK. You want to make sure that the stroke is aligning to the inside, otherwise you will not see it. After that, you want to go to do a Control A. Control A is going to select everything, and then you are going to go to Edit, Define Pattern, and we want to define this pattern as box. Just call it that. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. Now what you've done is you have defined a pattern. So what we can do is go back to our document, and we are going to make a new blank layer just above the canvas layer by hitting the new layer button at the bottom of our screen. So here, new layer, we got ourselves a new layer, and then we're going to go to Fill, and go Edit, Fill, And we're going to click with the new pattern. It's going to be sitting in there in the bottom of our pattern box. Click OK. There it is. It's nice and big. What you're going to have to do from here is we're going to have to transform it. So we are going to do a Control T, and you are just going to drag it down so you can start to see your text. Should end up creating some boxes here, like a little grid pattern. And then what we are going to do is hold Control and click on the right. You know what you can do is you can start to add perspective to different pieces. You can make it look like it's growing outward. Do the same over here. To the other side, both to the left and right. And then you can push Enter. And we want to change it so that it has a screen mode for its blend mode and an opacity of 15%. It's going to start to look like a grid pattern on the bottom of our text like it's sitting on it. If you don't like the way that your pattern looks, again, you can always go ahead and change it. You can really make it have more perspective. To bring the top in a little more, really give it some angle. And there is your final piece.